Moving on, Web 101, we have here the idea. This is on page 160. This is table 5.3. We have the idea here of font size, the properties and the values that we can give to the font size property. I want to take a little moment here to talk about the values that we can give these. They are either what are known as relative, so the page determines the sizing, or absolute. The page does not determine the sizing. The value that you provide does. So I want to start first with absolutes. It's very rare that using absolute values is going to give to you the exact result here when you are using font sizes anyway that you are expecting. You have been using absolute sizing for fonts your whole academic life. You just didn't know it. When you say Times New Roman 12-point font on a Microsoft Word document, have you ever noticed how no matter what you do, you put it on a page, you print it out, it always looks the same, right? And that's because that 12-point font is an absolute value. Each inch is divided into 64 points. And so the total of the height of those letters is 12 points. So it is something that it is a value that is absolute, which I know I'm repeating myself here, but that's something that means that I can give your document as you saw it and you printed it to another printer, for example, or a better printer or a color printer or something that can go on a t-shirt, etc., and it will always be the exact same size. This has been fantastic for us as designers, as developers, especially in, I'm going to refer to it as multimedia. So I have done this in my professional career doing like signs for the backs of buses, things of that nature. I can say, I want this font to be exactly this size, because that way I know that, these letters are going to be exactly the size that I want them to be. However, with web design, things get a lot grosser, frankly, a lot faster. I am doing this looking into my iPhone, which I'm using as my camera today, and the iPhone screen is great, right? But if I was to say that the letters on my page have to be the same size that they would be on a printed page, it's going to be very difficult for me to read things. If I design using an absolute font face for my phone, that's going to be nightmares when I come over here to my monitor. This one is a 4K monitor. So the very, very large or the very, very small lettering that I would have to settle on for my phone as a design would not look good here on my monitor. So rather than use the points or the pixels, both of those, PT and PX, are our absolute sizing. Pixels, just by way of review, is a dot on your device. So if we give it, it being a font, a pixel value, those are going to be the individual dots on your device. The problem with individual dots on your device is those dots are not the same. So if I have a 4K monitor here on my desktop at 28 inches and I have a 4K monitor right here in the background, that's my television at, I think it's 60 inches. That's a very much different sized pixel. The count is the same, but the pixel themselves are very, very different. We, by preference, would use the relative sizing. You can see those here are EM and percent. The EM is based on the size of the element that you're in. So if I say 0.75, that is 75% of the size relative to the container that I'm in. So that would be smaller. If I say 1.25 EM, that would be 125%. So bigger than the other, the default of the size of the container that I'm in. The percent value is for the entire page. So whatever the default size of text for the page is 100%. So if I go to 75%, that would be smaller text. If I go to 200%, that would be bigger text. We're going to get an opportunity to play with those. You are going to see them here with the hands-on practice here in the chapter, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in depth when we get to chapter 7, and we can really see the differences there in creating your own class, creating your own sizing. That's what we're going to see in chapter 7. So right here, page 160, table 5.3 is a down payment for something we're going to see next session.